there's a recent phenomenon that's not being talked enough about in our culture, which is what failure is doing to the young men and women in our space. And, you know, we're sweeping under the rug a couple of the suicides in our space. We're sweeping under the rug the heavy depression and alcohol use. We're sweeping things under the rug. We want to show all the hoopla. I hate what's going on Instagram right now. Everybody living their fake life, putting up pictures of like baby giraffes and like hot chicks and $50,000 cash on a bed and a boat, and painting a lifestyle that is not realistic. And I want to have this conversation because I think that I have a big enough voice to start the conversation about, look, there is a level of talent here, and what we need to all be doing is figuring out what we're best at and going all in on that. And by the way, do you know how much more money the number 2, 7, 15, 44th person at Facebook has than you and I?
Billions.
Billions.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit disappointed in a lot of ways. One, people that are bottom feeding and like signing up for every ebook and mastermind and course, and they're not talented enough, and they're chasing a lottery ticket, and they're gonna get depressed and get sick. Or great kids that have tons of talent who would have been great number 4s and made tens of millions of dollars and had work-life balance, who are being pressured into becoming the next Mark Zuckerberg and are gonna fail multiple times in a startup and not really start becoming that executive until they're 32, 33, 34, and learn some things, but be behind the ball in a world that they could have been successful for. There's absolutely a ton of kids right now that would have been better off being kids that were in their 20s and 30s and 80s and 90s, because they would have been consultants and COOs and CFOs and had an incredible life. And instead, they're only gonna get really started at 32, 33, and they'll win a lot of experience and they'll have hopefully a lot of fun. But unfortunately, I know a lot of Bs and I know a lot of 2s, and that's not for their makeup either. So for me, I have to do this.
Yeah.
I've been, it's why I was failed school. It's why I sold baseball cards when I was 14. So for me, I'm okay with the failures, the losses along the way. It's my natural state. I just want people who are listening to find their natural state and not force into the current narrative. I'm best at selling. I'm best at using my words to make things happen. Whether that's selling me, whether that's selling my agency, whether that's selling a bottle of wine, whether that's selling a book, I'm good at that.
Yeah.
I'm good at storytelling to make a transaction happen. I'm like everybody who's listening right now. I'm doing the best that I can.
Yeah.
Look, I lived 22 to 30 building a big business, but I wasn't doing outrageously special things, and I felt it. I knew
You're
it.
consistently growing something.
I was building a business. I'm super proud of that. I'm pumped that I didn't come out and become a pundit and a talking head at 22 and all these 18-year-old life coaches on Instagram. Like, I'm not into that. So I'm glad I had that meat and potatoes to come out and say, look, I built this. This had nothing to do with books or speeches or personal brand. This was a business I built. I was 32 years old before I said anything about business to the world.
Yeah.
I have a lot of pride in that. At the same token, while I was in it, I knew there was more. I knew there was this Gary Vee thing. I knew that there was bigger and better and all-time stuff. And so, it's a seesaw of trying to find your cadence. And I think one of the things that I would tell a lot of people who are listening, and I know you have a young crew, and when I say young, I mean under 40, it's stunning. And look, I'm 40, you could be 46, and it's a mindset, but here's where I'm going with it. It's stunning how much time you have to pull it off. When were you on the couch in your sister's, how old?
24.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of 24-year-olds listening right now.
And I had nothing,
Right, and they're confused. They're like, well, I need to do it and this and that. And so I think I love life, and I think that I don't want to die. And I think the only way that I know how not to die is to leave a big time legacy.
Or the thing you're trying to overcome lately?
I think my weakness will end up being too much patience. I can be a lot richer. I can be a lot more powerful. I'm always hedging. I'm pushing. I'm always worried about where the puck's going instead of, at times when I went to where the puck was going and I got there, I didn't squeeze it hard enough.